Next, I am thrilled to introduce the panel on live music emissions in the US and UK. Our panelists are, we have Professor John Hernandez from MIT Environmental Solutions Initiative, Anna Johnson from Hope Solutions, Norhan Boyemi, also from the MIT Environmental Solutions Initiative, Rachel Kavanaugh, Director of Climate and Energy at Love Nation, and myself, I'll be stepping in to represent Warner Music Group.
I'm going to start off. Hi, everyone. Good to be with you. Good morning. My name is John Fernandez. As was said, I'm a professor at MIT. Norhan and I are co-founders of the Climate Machine, which is a group at MIT under the Environmental Solutions Initiative that does work with the music industry and artists generally, the arts generally, and we're supported by Sophia Apteker, who's here. So I'm going to start us off, as Olga just said, thrilled that the theme of this gathering is collaboration. We've been in a 16-month collaboration with Warner Music Group, Live Nation, Coldplay, and Hope Solutions, and they have guided and supported the work in establishing a number for that can be attributable, emissions that can be attributable to live music in the US and the UK. You can't know how progress is going unless you know what are emissions today. We need to have that number. You've heard it before. You can't manage what you don't measure. So we've been working for the last 16 months in establishing that number. We are literally within 2 weeks of the final number, but we've got a presentation later this morning where we're going to go into the details on all the results that we can share with you right now. I want to say that we saw this morning some extraordinary, fantastic work on mobility, on venues. And so there is a lot of work already done, a lot of work that is being done. We hope to complement that work. We're not trying to, capture everything in one study, but we are trying to establish that total number for greenhouse gas emissions for live music in the US and the UK. And hopefully that will be really, really helpful as we move forward, as we see new initiatives that are intended to lower emissions. It's really important for us to know that they actually have lowered emissions in the next few years. So that's part of the work that we're doing. The work was really difficult to do because it's the quality of the work is based on data. And I'm going to pass it over to Norhan to describe a little bit our challenges and then how we address that data.
Thank you, John. So we had a data set of around 80,000 shows in the US and the UK. And we used that data to establish the foundation baseline of the carbon emission footprint for different sectors in the live music, including venue operations, fan travel, food and beverage consumption, waste management, and others. As John highlighted, the data scarcity was a major challenge for us, but as being in MIT, we are very used to work with data scarce environments. So we use our own methods and models with a combination of statistical models and machine learning models to be able to fill the data gaps. And we also have peer-reviewed all the results and the models with our advisory committee, which includes a group of expertise from the music industry in the US and the UK, covering tour management, logistics and operation, booking agency, artists. So that was very, very useful process for us to really calibrate most of the assumptions and the models we built.
And on that last point, the advisory committee, which essentially was organized through our partners and funders, Live Nation, Warner Music, Hope Solutions, and Coldplay. Fantastic, extraordinary group of people who really gave us the reality check on our assumptions and where we're headed with this work. We are going to go into all the details at 11:35 in the Kodak Theater. We're going to geek out on you, okay? We're going to go into lots of technical detail. But friends in the audience, I know Paul and others, they've seen some of this work. It's really important to know how deep we need it to go to be able to deliver a useful number for the music industry. The only thing that I would add to the Reverend's mix of essential elements moving forward is art, music, love, and science. We need the science as well. And with that, so it's been an extraordinary collaborative project. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Rachel then.
Great. First off, I just want to say I'm really happy to be here on behalf of Live Nation to talk about this great report. As John said at the beginning, and as we all know in our field, you can't manage what you can't measure, which is why we were really excited to partner with MIT and Warner Music Group and Coldplay to develop really this first-of-a-kind, data-backed look at the climate impact of live music. I would venture to guess that every single person in this room loves live music. It's what brings us all together today. It's what brings millions of people together around the world. And that scale is huge. And with that scale comes an environmental footprint, but it also comes an enormous opportunity to influence change. By understanding our environmental impact, we can do something about it. At Live Nation, we've been doing a lot in this space, not only to assess what our impact is, but also to implement solutions to address that. We have green teams at many of our venues and festivals around the world. We have been working at our festivals. Lollapalooza last year had the first battery-operated main stage for a major US festival. We support our artists through helping them plan more sustainable tours, but we know we can do even more together. So with this report, which really clearly outlines not only the key environmental focus areas, but also the opportunities to address them, we can really use it as a blueprint for our industry to work collectively and collaboratively together to build a more sustainable future for live music. And we're really excited to take the findings of this report and work with all of you to turn those findings into action. And with that, I'll pass it over to Anna with Hope Solutions.
Thank you, Rachel. Maybe I'll start with a quick story about Hope Solutions. Our founder and co-director, Luke Howell, his parents used to tour with a green roadshow up and down the UK. They were demonstrating the potential of clean, renewable energy technology 40 years ago. And they still showcase these technologies on site at a festival called Glastonbury in the UK. And something about this story really inspires me because it reminds me that, like, music, culture, it's not just here to entertain us. It's something that can change the world. And through this process of developing this report, you know, we can recognize, like, live music, the footprint, like, relative to, like, agriculture, construction, oil and gas, it's, like, relatively small, but we have this enormous, like, cultural footprint. The potential to accelerate decarbonization, to inspire wide-scale behavior change. We've got a really unique opportunity within music industries to create climate action at scale. So that's on how we can influence climate action. We also have, through this project, realized that there's a lot of amazing work that's already out there, but it's very fragmented. And so, to an extent, we've been missing an opportunity to drive, like, impacts collectively at scale together. And to share another kind of more personal story, I had just started working at a record label about 3.5 years ago, and it was my first sustainability role, and I was feeling really out of my depth. And a few months in, I saw the Music of Spheres sustainability website page go live, and I thought to myself, whoever is responsible for this really knows what they're doing, and I've got to try and make friends with them as quickly as possible to learn how they've done this. And I think if we kind of zoom out from that, my learning was that like collaboration is vitally important, and to do it with as many people within industry as possible. But Coldplay is just one band, and there's only so much they can do. We recognize that they've had a monumental impact and inspired so many of us to pursue climate action across music industries. But the real story is here that if we can build a foundation together through the work that we've done with this report, this will hopefully serve the whole live music industry community to work together. And finally, to kind of talk more about collaboration and actually the role of trust in this project. We were motivated to bring together as many stakeholders as we possibly could, because we know there's so much talent within the industry, people who've been working in tour management, artist management, operators of venues. We, through the team here, were able to reach out to a significant network of people, we're talking over 60, who formed our advisory committee and believed in the project and the aims of the project, so much so that they were so generous to share their time and knowledge and expertise with us. And I want to thank everyone who's from that group who's here today, because your insights have been totally and invaluable. And without those, the project would only go so far. So on that note, I'd love to hand over to Olga to talk more about collaboration.
Sure, thank you. So we at Warner Music Group are an artist-first company, and so this work is really about how we show up for our artists and how we show up for the fans that they want to connect to. Our artists are constantly asking for more sustainable solutions because they know that music doesn't just reflect culture, it shapes it. And many artists are aware of their ability to shape conversations, enable change, influence behavior, norms, dialogue about the climate crisis. Whether they're looking for climate-conscious merchandise and vinyl, sustainable touring practices, or using their platforms to engage fans in the solutions. But as many of my colleagues have mentioned, you can't go it alone. An artist, even the biggest artist, that wants to make a difference has to partner and find ways to collaborate. And so this is our attempt to really build that collaborative network to bring our artists the most innovative solutions and the best options to reduce their footprint and reduce their fans' footprint. The other thing that's really compelling to me here is that now that we can quantify the different impacts of each tour and each component of a tour, we know where to focus. Everybody has a limited amount of time and resources and bandwidth. And now that we can quantify those impacts, we can really attack the biggest levers and the biggest opportunities for change. I want to give a preview of where we're going. This work is really a foundation that has given us, for the first time, a shared understanding of the climate impact of concerts and live events, as well as the subcomponents of it. In the next few weeks, we will issue two things. One is a practical report for the industry with examples, show type comparisons, tactical guidance for promoters, venues, agents, artists, and fans. The second is a technical white paper from MIT that will offer the details about the modeling, the methodology, the assumptions, as well as certainly the findings. This, to me, I think is really a turning point for the industry and for our artists that will enable smarter touring, greener sourcing, and fan-centered innovations. But I think the other thing is that it will enable action. It will give us the clarity and confidence to act against those biggest opportunities for change, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Great, so I guess I'm going to close us out. First of all, thank you so much for being with us. Please come to see us at 11:35 in the Kodak Theater, although there are other good sessions as well. I just want to say that. But I do want to end up, the Rev's words this morning really affected me. I want to pick up on something that he talked about the legacy that artists leave. I want to use that idea to highlight what is the legacy that the industry is going to leave. We know what the legacy of the fossil fuel industry is. We know that, right? It's done. The legacy of digital technologies is evolving. We don't actually know what direction that's going to go, really. Could be super positive. We just don't know. The legacy of the music industry as the engine for cultural production has an enormous capacity to shift where we're going with as a society. And all you have to do is look back in history. The major changes, the major paradigm shifts that have happened in society have often happened through cultural production, through arts, through the arts, different kinds of arts, painting and sculpture, different things. That's where the music industry has this really seminal, critical role in empowering artists to make their art, full stop, but also to act in a way that the industry as a whole leaves a positive legacy. So just want to leave you with those words, and simply to say we're thrilled to have had the 5 minutes with you, 6 seconds left, because we wanted to talk to you as a group, because this has been a collaborative project. So thank you so much.